Hello and welcome back. This is another fourth grade math video where today's focus is going to be on multiplying multi-digit numbers by one-digit numbers. So I did a previous video on two-digit numbers. So today's video is going to focus more on three and four-digit numbers times those one-digit numbers. Okay, here's our first one. We're going to take 131 and we're going to multiply it by 2. So I'm going to show you this problem in two different ways. I'm going to show you the standard algorithm, and then I'm going to show you the box or area method as well. Then throughout the video, I'll kind of alternate between methods, and you can always pick which method you like the best. So for standard algorithm, what we do is we take the number that has the most digits. In this case, that would be the 131, and we place it on top. And then we put the second number lined up by place value right beneath it. First, I'm going to multiply 1 times 2, which will give me 2. Then I'm going to multiply 3 times 2, which will give me 6. And then finally, 1 times 2, which gives me 2. So the answer here would be 262. Let me go ahead and take that one down, and I'll show you using the area or box method. And what that is you take the first number or the biggest number and you break it up by place values. So if you have a 1 in the hundreds place, that represents 100. If you have a 3 in the tens place, that represents 30. And if you have a 1 in the ones place, that represents 1. So here comes our box, and this box will need to have 3 sections, one for the hundreds, one for the tens, and one for the ones. Then I'm going to put the number I'm multiplying by on the outside. So that first box, what I'm going to put is the result of multiplying 100 times 2. Well, 1 times 2 is 2, and then I would add the 2 zeros at the end here. And if you're confused about how I kind of got that, you can check out some of my previous videos where I do multiplying by numbers ending in zeros. So the next one is going to be 2 times 30 for the next box. 3 times 2 is 6, and then I can add 1 0 at the end to make it 60. The last box is 1 times 2, which is 2. My final step is to add these all together. So I'd have to do 200 plus 60 plus 2. When I do that, I end up with 262, just like I did when I did it the first time using standard algorithm. All right, so let's keep going. Here's our next one. We're going to multiply 220 times 2. So for this one, I'm going to use the standard algorithm to show you, which means I'm going to put the number that has the most digits, in this case, the 220 on the top. I'll put that up there, and then I'll line up the 2 just beneath that, lined up by place value. First, I'm going to multiply 0 times 2, which would give me 0. Then I'm going to multiply 2 times 2, which is 4, and then this 2 times that 2, which is also 4. So our answer to this should be 440. Okay, here's our next one. For this one, I'll show you using the box method or the area model. So I'm going to take 390 and I'm going to break it up by place values. So a 3 in the hundreds place represents 300. A 9 in the tens place represents 90. And if I have a 0 in the ones place, that means I have no ones. So I don't need a box for that if I have nothing there. So I'm going to go ahead and put a box under there and divide it into the 2 sections and put the 5 on this side over here. So in that first box on the left, I'm going to need to put the product or the multiplication answer to 300 times 5. 3 times 5 is 15, and then I would add the 2 zeros at the end. For the next box, I would be doing 9 times 5, which is 45, and then add the 1 0 at the end. So again, if you're not sure how I'm getting that, check out a previous video I did on multiplying numbers ending in zeros. So that means my final step is to add these two, what we call partial products, together. So I'm going to bring it over here, 1,500 plus 450, making sure to line up everything by place value. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 5 is 5. 5 plus 4 is 9. And 1 plus nothing is 1. So my final answer here should be 1,950. Okay, here's our next example. We're going to multiply 4,812 times 8. And for this one, I'm going to use the standard algorithm. So I'm going to go ahead and put the number that has the most digits on the top. In that case, that would be the 4,812. So 4,812 and then times 8. So the first two numbers I'm going to multiply are the two numbers in the ones place. So that would be 2 times 8, which gives me 16. This also gives me a 2-digit answer. So in the previous examples, when I'd multiply, I'd get 1-digit answers. When I get a 2-digit answer, I have to do some regrouping. The ones go down and the tens go up. So that means the 6 from the 16 goes down here, and the 1 in the tens place goes up to the next place value. Now I'm going to go ahead and delete that, and then I'm going to multiply 1 times 8, which is 8. And then I need to add the 1 that got placed on top. So I'm going to add that 1, and 8 plus 1 equals 9. So since that's a single digit answer, I don't need to split it up. I'm just going to go ahead and put the 9 right here. Okay, I'm going to erase that. My next step is to multiply 8 times 8, which is 64. So that gives me another 2-digit answer that I'm going to have to split up. The ones go down and the tens go up. So that means that 4 is going to go down here, and that 6 is going to get regrouped to the next place value. Okay, now my next step is to multiply 4 times 8, which is 32, but I have to add the 6 that's been placed on top of the 4. So I'm going to do plus 6. 2 plus 6 is 8, and then we have a 3 here. So again, this is a 2-digit answer that I need to split up for regrouping. The ones go down and the tens go up. So the 8's going to go down here, and the 3 is going to get regrouped to the next place value. Now the problem here is there's nothing left to hold it up. So it's just going to fall straight down and land right there. So my final answer to this would be 38,496. Okay, here's our last example for today's video. I'm going to do 1,331 times 2. I'm going to use the area or box model for this one. So I'm going to split up the larger number by place values. If I have 1 in the thousands place, that's the same as 1,000. If I have a 3 in the hundred place, that represents 300. A 3 in the tens place represents 30, and a 1 in the ones place represents a 1. So I'm going to go ahead and make my box under there. And since I have 4 place values, I need 4 sections to my box. I'm going to put the 2 over here, and now I can start multiplying. So 1 times 2 is 2, and then I need to add those 3 zeros to the end. 1,000 times 2 is 2,000. For the next box, I'm going to do 3 times 2, which is 6, and then add the 2 zeros at the end. Then the next one is 3 times 2, which is 6, and add 1 0, and then 1 times 2 is 2. So my last step would be to add these all together. So if I needed to add 2,000 plus 600 plus 60 plus 2. It's very important to make sure you line things up by place value when you're adding this many numbers together. So that would be 2 in the ones place, 6 in the tens, 6 in the hundreds, and 2 in the thousands. So the final answer here would be 2,662. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you in another video soon.